So Black Clover and the Wizard King is out, and it can be a lot of fun. However, it also seems to flop at weirdly simple things. This video contains pretty much full spoilers. So Black Clover, Sword of the Wizard King, begins with a flashback of a fight between the Wizard King Conrad against Julius, Yami, and a few other magic knights. Conrad preaches about how the Clover Kingdom is rotten to the core and needs to be rebuilt. But rather than focusing on small changes over time, why not just nuke the place and start over? Conrad wants to build a kingdom of equality where everyone, regardless of class, live and work together. Hell, let's just throw the whole class system out the window while we're at it. Conrad has access to a magic sword that contains energy from all past Wizard Kings. Julius and the others are able to seal him away, but aren't able to get the sword back, hence why we never see it in the show. In his last moments before being banished to the Phantom Zone, Conrad looks down at his pendant and says his magic is never giving up, hyping us for the inevitable clash with Asta. But is his pendant important somehow? You'll just have to wait and see. Back in the present day, we get a solid 8 seconds of normalcy before Conrad and his new group of goons show up. One uses barrier magic, one uses ice magic, and one uses legion magic. Which, side note, I know this is just a personal thing, but I'm so unbelievably sick of chess. I hate seeing chess framed as this super cool metaphor where the opposing villain is a crazy 200 IQ mastermind or blah blah blah. Or Stixay plays chess in an LCS hype video, ignoring the whole he plays on instinct narrative they set up all playoffs. Just stop playing chess in videos. It's so, I hate it. So Conrad and his new hair color trap and drain the magic from everybody in the stadium. Asta, Noelle, and Finral escape to a secret research lab and learn how to beat shit, he's already there. So we learn Conrad can copy other wizards' magic, and Asta doesn't like that one bit. So he attacks Conrad for his blatant plagiarism of not only his catchphrase, but also his friend's magic. While wrecking Asta, Conrad reveals his plan. If he can overload the Earth with magic power, he'd kill everyone and seal them inside the sword. But then he'll read their minds to revive only pure-hearted people who aren't prejudiced. As the Wizard King, he will create a world where people work together. Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Everyone should respect each other and get along great and laugh together. One day, whenever I become the Wizard King, I'll create that world.
Conrad is frustrated with how oblivious Asta is to what change needs to be done, but gives him a second chance. He lets Asta live, but gives him one more opportunity to change his mind and join his cause.
That's because my magic is never giving up.
At their safe house, Asta is given the opportunity to reflect. He and Conrad share the same goal, but just disagree on how to achieve it. Obviously, Asta would never join him, but the difference between a hero and a villain in that scenario is the hero's ability to think from different perspectives. So does Asta do that? Of course not! He knows nothing about Conrad, and neither do we! He just has to stop him because that's what main characters do. Now, I'm gonna skip most of the rest of this movie. The fights are cool, but honestly don't serve much of a narrative purpose. We see the Legion lady was lonely in her life, the old man hated how other nobles and royals treated commoners, and the crazy guy, I don't think we learn anything about him, except that every time he looks like he's gonna die, he's like, "You've activated my trap card," but then he does it 4 times. So in the final battle, Asta gets 7-dragoned, absorbs all the Slayer magic, and kills Acnologia. Asta manages to wield the Wizard King sword and fight off Conrad, who now has Arceus' gate thingy on his back. Side note part 2, can someone tell me what this is? I actually have no idea and I'm very curious because he's a godly figure and Arceus has one, so I just want to know what the symbology is. In their fight, Asta's able to steal away the sword and strike down Conrad, and we get this.
No! Those who are oppressed and without hope in their lives, for their sake, I will create!
Conrad has a friend or wife or something, I don't know. He has someone we've literally never heard of, and the pendant is now finally important. He dies, the end, what the hell? So I have 2 big problems with this movie. 1, Asta puts literally 0 thought into anything, and 2, Conrad is just a monster man. He has no backstory, we feel nothing for him until after the movie is over. These decisions baffle me. Having your villain be the dark future of your hero is classic action storytelling, and it can be very fun and fulfilling, or lazy and unrewarding. Take a guess on which one this is. You're wrong, technically it's kind of both. On paper, all the information we know from any point in the story is that Conrad was a joyful king who valued his people and worked to bring change to the world. But then some royals up and killed his wife, sending him spiraling down a dark path of his beliefs. He still believes in peace and equality, but has realized the only way to get there is to start over. His ideals have been corrupted by his trauma. Which is a great character to work with. It's such a shame that you need to rewatch the fucking movie to know any of this. Or keep up with all the marketing, maybe. It just can't stand up on its own as a first watch. Like, if you follow zero of the marketing for Maidral, and don't even read the synopsis, you'll learn everything you need to from the book itself in the order that best serves the story. Sword of the Wizard King, on the other hand, is so preoccupied with having a 1 hour long fight sequence that it straight up forgets to flesh out the villain until what is essentially a post-credit scene. Like, the writer almost made a note at the end that he needs to go back and fix something later on, and then fucking forgot. In this sort of story, what is the thing that separates the villain and the hero? I said it earlier. It's that the hero is able to look at his goals and how to achieve them from many different perspectives and strive for the path that helps the most people while hurting the fewest. And the villain is blinded by his past and can only brute force his way down the wrong path. After Asta gets wrecked in the lab, he should have had a moment to think about Conrad's goals and how they align with his. He doesn't need to legitimately consider joining him, although that could be good for a different kind of protagonist, just not Asta. But he needs to actually think about what they have in common and why Conrad is wrong. And instead of a really cool hour-long fight scene, we need a moment with Conrad where we learn why he's doing this. He has zero motivation in this movie. We need a remark about his wife and the corruption he faced while in power. We need scenes of the three goons and why they agree with him. Then, when the pendant is broken and shows his wife, there's actually some sort of meaning to it. So on a rewatch, this movie works way better because you actually know something about Conrad and his goals. But as a first-time experience, this movie was 100% a first draft that never got the time it needed. It is actively hiding a better movie from us. It's some fun action scenes loosely strung together by a plot that was forgotten about until a stitched-on explainer at the end. It's like they knew you were gonna Google Black Clover Sword of the Wizard King ending explained, and they just really didn't want Screen Rant to get that extra click. Also, Kirsch isn't in it, so what the hell.